Morning all. So while it's treat time for the cats and the rabbits, let us have our preview time for today. 4 games starting early, 1 in the middle, and then 3 late. Pretty simple. 8 games in all. Starting at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, we have the New Jersey Devils and the Pittsburgh Penguins facing off for the final time this season. On October 30th, New Jersey won this matchup 4-2. On December 19th, Pittsburgh wins 3-2. And on February 13th, Pittsburgh wins again 4-2. So Pittsburgh tried to win 3 out of 4. New Jersey tried to even up the season series. For New Jersey, it's been a rough year. 17, 28, and 5 overall. Over their last 10, they're 2-8. They've lost 2 in a row. Away from home, they're 7, 15, and 2. They're scoring 2.90 goals per game. They're allowing 3.56. So their scoring is not bad. Their defensive side of things, the goaltending side of things, whichever reason you want to throw on it, it's a work in progress. On the Pittsburgh side, they're 31, 13, and 8. Their overall numbers are good, and if you look at their numbers for the last few months, they've been very good. But they're 4, 3, and 3 in their last 10, and they've lost 2 in a row. So they've only won 4 out of 10. They're trying to turn things around, and here comes New Jersey. At home, they're 14, 7, and 5. They're scoring 3.29 goals per game. They're allowing 2.60. So their overall numbers have been excellent. And we'll see if New Jersey comes in and gives them a chance to get things rolling again, and off you go. Then also at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, the Minnesota Wild in against the Toronto Maple Leafs. These teams met on December 4th in Minnesota. It was a shootout win for the Wild that night, 4-3. We'll see what happens in Toronto. On the Minnesota front, they're 31, 14, and 3 overall. Last 10 games, they're 6 and 4. They did lose their last game. Away from home, they're 15, 10, and 2. They're scoring 3.79 goals per game, which is a lot. They're allowing 3 goals per game even. On the Toronto side, they're 32, 14, and 4. Their overall record's excellent, but they're 5, 4, and 1 in their last 10. They lost their last game against Columbus in extra time, and there's a little bit of panic creeping in, right? So at home, they're 18, 5, and 1. Their 3.54 goals per game is impressive. They're allowing 2.8 goals per game, but there is some concern about Campbell. I've said it before, I think they overplay Campbell, but we'll see if that continues to be the case and if he just plays through it and they figure it out. Also at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, Columbus will be very glad this is the final matchup with the Florida Panthers. The first 2 did not go well. January 15th, Florida wins 9-2. Then on January 31st, Florida wins 8-4. So that's 17 goals against in 2 games. And so Columbus needs to shut things down. The good news is Columbus is 26, 23, and 1. And they're playing their best hockey of the season right now. At 8-2 in their last 10, they've won 3 in a row. Away from home, they're 12 and 13. So their overall record has improved quite a bit. They're scoring 3.28 goals per game. They're allowing 3.64. So they've been allowing too many goals in general this year. On the Florida side, 35, 11, and 5. Over their last 10, they're 7 and 3. They lost their last game, so they're angry. So that won't be a bad thing for Columbus, right? At home, they're 23 and 4. They did lose that last game. Again, no chance they're going to be angry tonight, right? They're scoring 4.12 goals per game. They're allowing 2.90. This, to me, screams another goal fest between the two. Does Columbus have the guns to keep up? Maybe. Maybe in that Patrick Laine right now is scoring a lot of goals. We shall see whether or not they can keep up with Florida tonight. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, the Florida Panthers in against the New York Rangers. On October 13th, these teams met, and Washington won that game 5-1. This is the second of 3 meetings, and the only one so far that still has a meeting left, and it's to close the season against one another on April 29th. Who knows? It might be for home ice in the first round, right? So Washington's 28, 15, and 9. Over their last 10, they're 5 and 5, but they've won 2 in a row, so they seem to be getting things straight. Away from home, they're 16, 5, and 4. They're scoring 3.25 goals per game. They're allowing 2.75 goals per game. On the Rangers side of things, they're 32, 13, and 5 overall. Last 10 games, they're 6, 3, and 1. They won their last game. At home, they're 16, 4, and 3. 2.94 goals scored per game. They're allowing 2.50. So they're scoring barely more goals than New Jersey, but they're allowing more than a goal less per game than New Jersey. So a little bit of a difference there between the two. Then we jump ahead. 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. The start time between Dallas and Nashville. And this is a pretty good feud. November 10th, Nashville wins 4-2. February 9th, Dallas wins 4-3. The fourth and final meeting between these teams will be on March 8th. So we shall see whether or not Dallas can win the season series or Nashville can. For Dallas, they're trying to keep pace in the West, right? They're trying to improve their chances of making the playoffs. They're currently 28-20-2 over their last 10. They're 6-4. They won last night against Winnipeg. This is the second half of a back-to-back. It's a tall ask, but for Dallas, they tend to underachieve and overachieve sometimes in the same week, sometimes in the same game. So we'll see what they do tonight. Very unpredictable. Away from home, they're 10-13-1. That record's not great. It's better than what it was a couple months ago. So they're scoring 2.88 goals per game. They're allowing 2.92. Their goal differential's very close to being even. On the Nashville front, they're 29-18-4. They have to feel pretty good. They're only 5-4-1 in their last 10, but they did win their last game in Florida. So they have to feel pretty good about that. At home, they're 14-9. They're scoring 3.10 goals per game. They're allowing 2.84. So for Nashville, this is a big one. You know, if they can put Dallas in the rearview mirror, great. But if Dallas can win this one in regulation, they're right there. And the fight between them and Nashville, March 8th becomes an even bigger game. 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific, we get into the later games. Calgary in against Vancouver. On January 29th, these teams met in Calgary. And in a snooze fest, it was won by Calgary, 1-0 in overtime. So they're hoping for some more excitement tonight in Vancouver. The next games will be March 19th. They'll also meet again on April 23rd. For Calgary, they're 30-13-6. They've won 10 in a row. Their winning streak started against Vancouver. Does Vancouver end it? The reason I say that is because the winning streak for Colorado, where they won 10 in a row, started against Arizona, and then Arizona ended it. So we'll see if we see an echo of that tonight, right? Away from home, Calgary 16-9-2. They're scoring 3.41 goals per game. They're allowing 2.33. They've been fantastic. Vancouver, 24-22-6. They are flirting with the idea of getting into the playoff hunt and maybe making their new general manager and president rethink things. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10. They did win their last game, so they need to get on a little more of a streak here and really put themselves in a position to make the playoffs. That, again, makes their GM have to think about whether or not he's going to sell off. At home, they're 11-10-3, so they're above 500 at home. Remarkable considering they were nowhere near 500 at home when Travis Green was dismissed. They're scoring 2.63 goals per game. They're allowing 2.79 goals per game. Their goals against, despite that speed bump against the Islanders, their goals against just keeps coming down, which gives you a better chance to win. Pretty simple, but still. There you go. 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific. We've got Boston in against the Seattle Kraken. You will notice that there is an Admiral Akbar trap magnet there, because it does kind of scream to me trap. Boston wins this meeting February 1st at home 3-2. It was a closer game than I think Boston would have wanted it to be. 29-17-4 is the record for Boston. Over their last 10, they're 5-4-1. Their last game was a win. It was a huge 60-minute win over Colorado. They had to feel pretty good. Away from home, they're 13-7-3. They're scoring 2.88 goals per game. They're allowing 2.74 goals per game. On the Seattle side, it's all been downhill for them. 16-33-4 overall now. Last 10 games, they're 2-8. They've lost 5 in a row. And at home, they're 9-17-2. They're scoring 2.57 goals per game. They're allowing 3.57 goals per game. So they're now allowing exactly 1 goal per game more than they're scoring. Not really a recipe for success. But again, 5 losses in a row. Boston probably feeling pretty good after the win over Colorado. First game of a road trip. I could see Seattle coming out with a victory in this one. Then a half an hour later, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, the New York Islanders and the San Jose Sharks square off for the second and final time. On December 2nd, they met in New York, and San Jose won that one in overtime 2-1. So the Islanders will be looking for some revenge in the Shark Tank. 19-20-7 is the record for the New York Islanders. Over their last 10, they're 4-5-1. They did win their last game over Seattle. Away from home, they're 9-10-3. They're scoring 2.50 goals per game. They're allowing 2.70 goals per game. So their numbers are not completely dissimilar from Vancouver's. And for the Islanders, much like Vancouver, they're just trying to get themselves into the hunt somehow. The numbers don't look good for the Islanders. They don't look great for Vancouver either, but we'll see. On the San Jose front, A team that's really slid out of the hunt. 22, 22, and 6 over their last 10 now. They're 1-5-4. Only won one of their last 10. At home, they're 11, 11, and 3. They're scoring 2.66 goals per game. They're allowing 3.12 goals per game. So things have really gone in the wrong direction for San Jose. They'll try to right the ship just at least a little bit, against the New York Islanders. We shall see. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happen upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.